what? Static environment means what is meant by the static means if the whatever the statements are executing at whatever the statements are executing at compile time, those statements we are going to be called it as what? Static type statements. And whatever the statements are executing at runtime, those statements we are going to be called it as what? Those statements we are going to be called it as what? Uh, those statements are going to be executed at which time? Runtime. And here when the memory is going to be allocated, and suppose when the memory is going to be allocated, and in the previous classes you have been observed something as what? Inside in the previous classes, suppose if I am declaring something a variable like this, int n. Here if I am declaring a variable in this format, if I am declaring a variable as what? In this format, and this type of for n and I, the memory is going to be allocated at which time is? For n and I, the memory is going to be allocated at which time is? The memory is going to be allocated at which time is? Compile time. The memory is going to be allocated at which time is? Memory is going to be allocated at which time is? Compile time here. And these statements are for these statements for n and I, whatever the memory for whatever the unsigned int, whatever the memory size is there, that memory size is going to be applied to the what? N and I. But here what is the one more type of variable we are declaring here means, here we are declaring something as what? Pointer type variable. Here we are declaring something variable called pointer type variable. For this we want to assign a separate we want to assign the memory at runtime. For the pointer type variables, we can assign the memory size at which time means? Execution time. We can assign at which time means? Execution time. While program is executing, we are going to assign the memory here. Such type of memory we are going to be called it as what? Dynamic memory. We are going to be called it as what? Dynamic memory here. Here what are the concepts are there for assigning the dynamic memory? Hmm, what are the concepts are there for allocating the memory at runtime? Allocating the memory at runtime, we are going to be called it as what? Dynamic memory allocation. If you are allocating the memory at which time? Execution time means, we are going to be called it as what? Dynamic memory allocation. And for that, what are the what is the header file we need to be included in our program? For that, what is the header file we need to be included in our program is, we need to include a header file called standard library.h. What is the header file we need to be included here means, we need to include a header file called standard library.h. And what are the for allocating the memory at runtime means, what are the different types of functionalities we are going to be used? What are the different types of functionalities we are going to be used? You need to remember some 4 functionalities. And for allocating the memory, we are going to use some malloc and calloc. Calloc for allocating the memory, we are going to use m alloc and c alloc, or malloc and calloc functions are used for what? Allocating the memory. Suppose whatever the allocate memory is there, that memory is insufficient, we want to modify that size of the memory. We want to modify the size of the memory means, what is the to modify whatever the assigned memory is there, that assigned memory I want to reduce or decrease means, what is the one more functionality to change the memory size means, what is the functionality we are having here means, we are having one functionality called realloc. What is the one functionality we are having? Realloc. And whatever the memories we have been assigned, whatever the memories we have been assigned in the computer system, whatever the memories we have been assigned to the variables by using the C program, that memories I want to be deallocated or I want to free of that memory. Suppose on your computer system you have been stored a huge number of videos. You want to delete those huge number of videos, means after deleting automatically what is the thing is going to be free. The memory is going to become as what, free up. Here also whatever the allocated memory is there, that memory we want to be deallocate, means what is the methodology we are going to be used here, means free functionality we are going to be used. And here what are the four things, what are the important points to be noted inside the dynamic memory allocation, means to allocate the memory at runtime, means what is the concept to allocate the memory at runtime, means what is the concept we are going to such concept we are going to be called it as what, such concept we are going to be called it as dynamic memory allocation. And to allocate the memory at runtime, means inside our program what is the header file we need to be included. We need to include a header file called standard library.h. What is the header file we need to be included? Standard library.h. And to allocate the memories, means what are the functionalities we are going to be used? Malloc and calloc. Suppose if we want to manipulate the memory, whatever the assigned memory is there, that assigned memory size we want to be manipulated, we want to be changed, then what is the functionality we are going to be used? We are going to use a functionality called realloc. What is the functionality we are going to be used? Realloc. And whatever the assigned memory is there, that assigned memory I want to be deallocated, means what is the functionality we are going to be used, means we are going to use a functionality called free functionality we are going to be used. Now we are going to see what is meant by the malloc, what is meant by the calloc, what is meant by the realloc, and what is meant by the free. And before that, inside the exam short answer question, what is the question they are going to be asked, means what is the difference between the static memory allocation and dynamic memory allocation. The memory allocated at compile time we are going to be called it as what? The memory allocated at compile time we are going to be called it as what? Static memory allocation. The memory allocated at runtime we are going to be called it as what? Dynamic memory allocation. The memory allocated at runtime we are going to be called it as what? Dynamic memory. The memory allocated at compile time we are going to be called it as what? Static memory allocation. And what is the difference here? We can change the size at any time. We can change this, we can reallocate the size by using reallocate function at any time. That's why here the memory can be increased or decreased while executing the program. Memory can be increased or decreased while executing the program. But here memory size is what? Here the memory size is always fixed, always fixed. Your initial whatever the variable int a have been declared, the a memory size is what? Integer size itself, that is fixed, it cannot be changed. That's why what is the statement we have been written? Memory cannot be increased. But here memory can be what? Increased, or memory can be what? Decreased. Here the memory is what? Fixed. And in which type of scenarios we are going to use static memory allocations, means suppose variable declarations or array declarations. For such type of scenarios we are going to use something as what? Static memory allocations. And if you are using a pointer based variable, if you are using a pointer based variable, means such type of to such type of variables, what is the concept we are going to be applied here, means we can apply the which concept? Dynamic memory allocation here. And in exam point of view, it is the important question. What is the important question they are going to ask here, means static memory allocation and dynamic memory allocation. Dynamic means you need to remember something as what? Runtime, allocated at runtime. Static means you need to remember it as what? Allocated at compile time. What is the other difference you need to be remember here, means here the memory size is fixed. Here the memory size can be increased or changed at execution time. And which type of variables it is going to be? For normal variables, int a or integer int array, like that. Whatever the variables we have been declared, those variables are those variables memory is going to be allocated at which time is compile time. If you are declaring a pointer type variable means you can change the memory size at runtime by using a dynamic memory allocation functions. And this is the difference between the dynamic memory allocation and static memory allocation. And now we are going to, what are the four functionalities we are having inside the dynamic memory allocation. And malloc means what? Malloc allocates what? Single block of requested memory. What is the single line definition you need to remember for the malloc means it allocates what? Single block of requested memory. Single block of requested memory. Calloc means what? Multiple blocks of requested memory. Double sized memory it is going to be allocated. And realloc means what is the thing we need to be remember? Memory occupied by the malloc or calloc function. Reallocates the memory occupied by the what? Malloc and calloc functions. For reallocation purpose, we are going to use realloc. And to free up the memory means what is the functionality we are going to be used? Free functionality we are going to be used. To free the memory means what is the functionality we are going to be used? Free function we are going to be used. These are the four functions you need to be remember for the what? Dynamic memory allocation. And now we are going to see in depthly about the what? Malloc and calloc and realloc and free functions we are going to be seeing. And here what is meant by the malloc function? Just now what is the single line definition? Single block of requested memory, and it doesn't initialize the memory at which time? It doesn't initialize the memory at which time? Execution time. So its garbage value is going to be initialized. Its garbage value is going to be initialized. And if the memory is, it returns null if the memory is what? Insufficient. And when it is going to return null means whatever the memory we have allocated, that memory size is insufficient to that particular variable means it is going to return some value as what? Return some value as what? Null value here. And here what is the to which type of variable we are going to assign the memory here? Here to which type of variable we are assigning the memory? Pointer type variable. And whatever the memory we are allocating, and that memory we are using as what? We are converting it into the what? In the first unit we have discussed about the type casting. Here we are converting this malloc byte size, we are converting it into the what? Malloc byte size has been converted it into the targeted type as what? Pointer type. We are converting it into the what? Pointer type. And here what is the parameter we are going to be passed to the malloc function? What is the argument we are going to be passed to the malloc function? Here what is the parameter we are passing here means byte size we are passing. We are passing something as what? Byte size. What is the thing we are going to be passed? Byte size. And here what is the whatever the memory has been allocated, that memory we are converting targeted type as what? Where we want to assign the memory here means to the pointer variable. That's why we are indicating the targeted type as what? Pointer type. Targeted type we are indicating it as what? Pointer type. And now we are going to see programmatically how we are going to assign the memory to a pointer variable dynamically by using the malloc function. How we are going to allocate the memory at which time? Runtime. By using the which function? Malloc function. And okay, now we are going to see it practically here. And here what is the header file we need to be included here? What is the header file we need to be included other than stdio.h? What is the header file we need to be included here means standard lib.h. What is the header file we need to include here means standard lib.h header file we need to be included. And here what is the Here we are asking the user to what? Enter a number of elements. Here we are asking the user to enter number of elements. And I want to store all those elements. I want to store all those elements inside the which variable here means pointer variable. I want to store all those variables in pointer variable. But here we have not collection of elements means collection of elements means what is the concept we are going to be used? Arrays we are going to be used. We are going to use a concept called arrays. But here what is the concept we are using? Here we are not using the arrays. We are using a concept called pointers concept we are using. What is the concept we are using? Pointers. And uh, here suppose I have entered something as 3. Uh, 3 integer variables am I want to give it as input. Then how you are going to assign the 3 integer variable size dynamically means here what is the thing, what is the functionality we are using? Malloc. And here what is the for each 3 elements of which type? Integer type. That's why I am find outing the integer size by using the which functionality? Size of int. And that size of int is multiplied with the which variable? Size of int I am multiplying with the what? Number of elements. Suppose user enter 3 elements means 3 into size of what? Int. And this is the size I am allocating to that pointer variable by using the which function? Malloc function. And I am converting it into the which type of pointer? The memory size is converted it into the which pointer here means integer pointer. The memory size is assigned to the which one? Memory integer pointer. If the then pointer is equal to whatever the memory we have been allocated, that memory is going to be assigned. And here what is the if it is not allocated? If this statement is not executed properly, if this statement is not executed properly, whether it is executed properly or not executed properly means what is the value it is going to be contained? It is going to contain the value as what? Null. It is going to contain the value as what? Null. If the memory has been allocated exactly means what is the value? It is not equal to the what? Null. And that's why whether it has been allocated, whether the memory has been allocated or not means we are using one if condition. If pointer double equal to null means we are saying the we are giving the output to the user as what? Sorry, unable to allocate the memory. If it is not equal to null means we are taking the elements from the what? User. We are taking the elements from the what? User. We are asking the user to enter the elements of what? Array. And here how many elements we want to be collected? 3 elements. That's why we have been written something as what? For I is equal to 0, I less than n, and I plus plus or plus I we are indicating. And we are where we are storing those values here means we are storing inside the values called what? Pointer plus 0, pointer plus 1, like that. We are storing those 3 elements inside the which one? We are storing the point array of pointers. We are storing those values inside the what? Array of pointers. Array of pointers we are storing. Array of pointers we are storing. And here what is the thing we are calculating here means we are calculating the sum of the 3 elements. And after total execution of this program, at the end of the program, to free up the memory means what is the methodology we are using here means free function we are using. We are free of what is the to which one we have assigned the memory? To which one we have been assigned to the memory? Pointer. And that pointer memory we want to be free. So what is the functionality we are using? Free of what? Pointer. And here what are the 2 important lines of code you need to be remember here means this line of code you need to be remember. And to assign the memory by using the malloc function means we are going to use this statement. And to free up the memory means what is the statement we are going to be using? free of what? Pointer. And suppose if I execute this program, means what is the output it is going to be displayed. Here I am executing build and run, and here I am executing build and run, and here I am executing the build and run, and here it is asking what? Enter number of elements. Here I am giving some elements as what? 3. And next, what is the thing it is asking? uh, here the here this statement is displayed. By seeing this statement, what is the thing we are going to be understood? Here pointer is not equal to what? Null. And successfully it has been allocated the memory. And now we are going to give the elements, and here we are going to give the elements here. And here I am giving the elements as what? Here I am giving the elements as 10, 20, and here I am giving the value as what? 30. And and pressing the enter means what is the sum is equal to 10 plus 20 plus 30. It is giving something as what? 60. And here is we used the arrays concept or not? Here we have not used the arrays concept. Here we have used the concept called pointers. And how we have allocated the memory for those, how we have allocated the memory for which one? 10, 20, 30, to this value, to these variables. How we have been allocated means we have been allocated dynamically by using a functionality called what? Malloc. And inside the functionality, what is the statement we need to be remember? N into size of what? Whatever the data type. Here 10, 20, 30 are of which type? Integer type. That's why we have indicated it as what? Size of what? Int. And we have converted it into the what? We have typecasted this value into the what? Integer pointer type. That value is going to be stored inside the what? Pointer. And for allocating the memory means what is the functionality we have been used? Malloc function. For deallocating the memory means what is the functionality we have been used? Free function we have been used. For malloc, what is the parameter we have been passed? What is the For malloc, what is the parameter we have been passed? Only a single parameter. That single parameter is nothing but what? Size of the memory we have been passed. Size of the memory we have been passed. And for free function, what is the parameter we have been passed means pointer parameter we have been passed. If you understood this program means the calloc function is almost similar to the what? Malloc. And here what is the next concept we are going to be discussed? Here what is the next concept we are going to be discussed here means here we are going to discuss something about the what? Calloc function. Calloc function means what? Here it is taking something as what? Two parameters. There we have only passed something as what? One parameter. That parameter we have been passed it as what? Byte size. Here we are passing something as two parameters as what? Say first parameter as what? Number. And here what is the how what is the calloc means what? Multiplies the block, multiple blocks of requested memory. And malloc means what? Single block of requested memory. Here calloc means what? Calloc means what? Multiple blocks of requested memory. And it is going to, by defaultly it is going to initialize the byte size what? By default it is going to initialize the memory size as what? 0. And in the previous malloc function, it is going to assign the initial value as what? It is going to assign the initial value as what? Garbage. Inside the malloc, by default it is going to initialize the byte size as what? Garbage. But inside the calloc, what is the byte size it is going to be assigned means it is going to assign the byte size, initial byte size as what? 0. And what is the, it returns null if the memory is what? Insufficient. In malloc also it is going to return null if the memory is insufficient. In the calloc also what? It is going to return null if the memory is what? Insufficient. If the memory is what? Insufficient. And Now we are going to see what is the how we practically we are going to see what is the how we are going to implement the calloc functionality here. And almost from the first statement, from the first line of code to up to here, whatever the previous code is there, the same code we are the same code has been entered, the same code we have been typed up to here, the same code. And here what is the, instead of malloc, what is the functionality we are using? Calloc. But in the malloc function we have typed it as what? N into size of int. But inside the calloc, we are passing n as what? Number of elements we are specifying as the first parameter. Number of elements we are specifying it as what? First parameter. And size of individual variable we are passing it as what? Second parameter. And there we have been passed it as what? There we have been passed it as, inside the malloc we have been passed it as n into size of int. But here we have separated, n is one first parameter, number of variables as first parameter, and the size of int as what? Second parameter. And here in this manner we are going to allocate the memory. In this manner we are allocating the memory. And remaining statements, almost all the statements are of same, almost all the statements are same. And here what is the difference means, their single block of memory it is going to be allocated. Here what is the thing it is going to be allocated? Multiple blocks of memory it is going to be allocated. And their initial by initial variable is going to be assigned as what? Zero or garbage value. Initial value it is going to be assigned as what? Garbage value. Here the initial value it has been assigned it as what? Zero. The initial value it is going to be assigned it as what? Zero. And here also, if the memory is not allocated means it is going to return the value as what? Null. There also, if the memory is not allocated means it is going to return the pointer variable value as what? Null. And here, to free up the memory of the pointer means what is the statement we are using? Free of pointer we are using. There also what is the functionality we have been used? Free of pointer we have been used. And this is the difference about the what? Malloc and calloc. And here now we are going to execute this program. And for the previous program, whatever the output we have been seeing, the same type of output we are going to be expected here. And here I am running. And here it is going to ask entire number of what is the statement it is going to be displayed? Entire number of elements. It is going to display something as entire number of elements. Here I have entered 3. And here I am assigning something as 10. And here I am assigning it as what? 20. And here I am assigning it as what? 30. And sum is equal to, what is the thing it is showing? Sum is equal to what? 60 it is showing. And for 10, 20, 30, when the memory has been allocated at the execution time, when this statement is going to be executed, when this statement is going to be executed at the execution time, after executing this statement, it is going to allocate the memory. That's why we are calling it as what? Dynamic memory allocation. For dynamic memory allocation, for single block of memory means malloc function we are going to use. For multiple blocks of memory means calloc we are going to use. For malloc, how many parameters it is going to be contained means single parameter. That single parameter we are going to indicate it as what? N into size of data type. And for calloc, we are going to pass 2 parameters as what? N comma size of what? Int we are going to be passed. And now we are going to see the one more concept we are going to be what is the concept? Reallocation. How we are going to modify the memory size after assigning. How we are going to be modify the memory size after assigning, after already assigned. For that, what is the functionality we are going to be used here means we are going to use a functionality called realloc functionality we are going to be used. And what is the first parameter we are passing? First parameter we are passing it as pointer. and second parameter we are passing it as what? New size. We are passing it as what? New size. And here what is the practically we are going to see. Here what is the here we have been already allocated the memory by using the something as statement as what? Malloc. And here I want to change the size of this particular memory. To change the size of the memory means what is the here what is the new size. Here I am taking the from the user as what? New size. Enter the new size. Old size as what? What is the old size the user has been entered? N1. And the new size the user is entering it as what? N2. And here what is the functionality? Pointer is equal to what is the thing we are going to be assigned? Realloc. And here first parameter we are passing it as pointer. And what is the new size? New size is what? N2. N2 into size of what? Int. N2 into size of what? Int. What is the previous size assigned memory? Previous assigned memory is what? N1 into size of what? Int. And newly assigned memory is what? N2 into size of what? Int. Realloc. By using the which functionality we are reallocating? We are allocating by using the what? Realloc. And in this manner we are going to change at runtime. We are going to modify the size of the memory at runtime by using the which statement? Realloc statement. And here first parameter we are passing it as pointer. To which pointer we want to change the memory, and what is the new size we want to assign? What is the new size we want to be assigned? And this is all about what? Realloc. And if I execute this program, what is the output it is going to be displayed? And here build and run. And if I am executing this program means what is the output it is going to be displayed? Enter the size. Here I am entering the size as 3. And the previously allocated memory addresses are this. If I am assigning the new one here means now how many memories has been created? 1 2 3 4 5 6. Previously how many memories? 3 memories. And this is all about what? Memory allocation dynamically. To deallocate the memory means what is the functionality we are going to be used? Free functionality we are going to be used. Free functionality